Tony the Brave Mouse. Picture this, a bustling medieval village at the edge of a dense, enchanted forest. The cobblestone streets are alive with the clatter of wooden carts, the aroma of fresh-baked bread, and the chatter of villagers who believe their tiny hamlet is the center of the universe. Yet beneath their feet, in the shadows of their storied world, a hero stirs a hero who doesn't walk on two legs, doesn't carry a sword, and whose courage would soon eclipse even the bravest knights. Meet Tony, the mouse who dared to defy fate. Tony wasn't just any mouse. He was smaller than most of his kind, with fur the color of ash and eyes that seemed too large for his tiny frame. His stature earned him ridicule among his peers, who often joked that a stiff breeze could blow him into the next kingdom. But Tony possessed something far greater than size or strength, a heart brimming with unyielding determination. One fateful autumn evening, as the first golden leaves fell to the ground, the village was thrown into chaos. The great owl, a creature of legend, with wings as wide as a barn door and talons sharp enough to slice through armor, descended from the forest, casting an ominous shadow over the villagers. Rumor had it that the owl demanded tribute, livestock, grain, and sometimes even the most heartbreaking of sacrifices, a child. The villagers, paralyzed by fear, locked their doors and whispered prayers to gods who rarely answered. But Tony wasn't afraid. "Someone has to stop this," he declared to the other mice huddled in their burrows. They scoffed. "What can you do? You're just a mouse." Tony's reply was simple. Exactly. Who would ever suspect a mouse? That night, armed with nothing but his wits and a piece of cheese he had saved for good luck, Tony set out on a journey that would change everything. His plan was audacious: sneak into the great owl's lair, hidden deep within the forest, and confront the fearsome creature. The forest was a place of unspeakable dangers, where even the bravest knights dared not tread. To Tony, it was an obstacle, and obstacles were meant to be overcome. The journey was treacherous. Tony dodged swooping bats, narrowly escaped a snake's coiling grasp, and outwitted a sly fox that had mistaken him for an easy snack. Each challenge seemed insurmountable, but Tony pressed on, driven by the thought of the terrified villagers and the belief that even the smallest creature could make a difference. When Tony finally reached the owl's lair, he was greeted by a sight that would have sent any other creature scurrying back to safety. The great owl sat perched on a gnarled branch, its golden eyes glowing like twin suns. "Who dares enter my domain?" the owl thundered, its voice echoing through the hollowed trees. Tony stepped forward, his tiny frame dwarfed by the owl's immense size. "I am Tony," he said, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his insides. "And I've come to ask you to leave the village alone." The owl's laughter shook the forest. "A mouse? Telling me what to do? Do you have any idea who I am?" Tony didn't flinch. "Do you have any idea who I am?" he shot back. The owl, taken aback by the mouse's audacity, leaned in closer, its massive beak just inches from Tony. "You're either very brave or very foolish," it said. Tony smiled. "Maybe a bit of both." What happened next is the stuff of legend. Tony used his size to his advantage, darting and weaving through the owl's defenses, evading talons and beak with an agility that even the owl couldn't match. But it wasn't brute strength or speed that won the day. It was Tony's mind. He outsmarted the owl, leading it into a trap he had prepared, using nothing but a bit of string, some berries, and his unshakable resolve. By dawn, the great owl was gone, its reign of terror over. The villagers emerged from their homes to find Tony sitting proudly in the town square, a hero in their midst. Word of his bravery spread far and wide, and soon Tony's name was spoken in the same breath as kings and warriors. The other mice, once his harshest critics, now looked at him with awe and admiration. Tony the Brave Mouse became a symbol of courage, proof that even the smallest among us can achieve greatness. His story was passed down through generations, a reminder that true bravery isn't measured by size or strength, but by the courage to stand up when no one else will. And so, whenever you feel small or powerless, remember Tony. For if a mouse can defy an owl, who's to say what you're capable of?